PLNU alumni homecoming. I am so blessed and honored to give a short word and devotional thought. I am flooded with great memories, beautiful memories, and not just of the scenery, but of you all and the students that I got to serve. I'm so grateful for those 4 years that I was able to be on campus and be your chaplain. And I'd be remiss if I didn't have a memory of Brown Chapel, right? Like the place not only where I met my wife, but the place where I got to bring a word from the Lord and always filled with a holy disturbance. And it was a sacred and wonderful place. But I'm remembering the times where I got to be with you students one-on-one or on retreats or watching your events or being a part of your lives in different ways, including even one-on-one conversations at the local Pete's, right? Who can forget those? But I'm grateful for that. And I'm reminded that in those moments and in our lives, even now, and as I look back and I think of my present day, I see this God that continues to reveal God's self to us. You know, if we look at Scripture, we see that all throughout Scripture. We begin in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God reveals God's self there. In the beginning, God. God reveals God's self as God. The next word is in the beginning, God created. The next thing we find out about God is that God is a creator. God continues to reveal God's self all throughout Scripture, whether it's a pillar of fire, a cloud of smoke, or a donkey, which may be right now. But then ultimately, God reveals God's self in flesh, Jesus Christ, right? And shows us love incarnate. And this is what I'm reminded of, that this is this sort of God, the God that comes to us. In Jeremiah, we have this passage where it says, "And those who survived the sword found grace in the wilderness. And as they were looking for rest, God met them there." You see, this is a beautiful picture to me. This is a beautiful picture to me that God meets us in our wildernesses, in any sort of time and season, even after surviving swords, whatever those swords or hardships or drastic, horrible times in our lives, God meets us there as we're looking for rest. Or it may be in times of joy, God meets us there. God comes to us. And the amazing thing about this passage, which I love, is that while they were looking for rest, while they were looking for peace, for shalom, for wholeness, grace is found because God comes. This is what I want to encourage you with, that there is enough grace in God. When God comes and meets us, there's enough grace for anything, right? There's enough grace for us. There's enough grace to rest. There's enough grace for peace and for shalom. There's enough grace to persevere if we need to keep going. There's enough grace to sit and to wait if we need to be still and know. There is enough grace to run, to climb, to keep going, to trudge forward if we need to. There is enough grace for that. There's enough grace in our lives when God meets us so that we are enabled to trust. There is enough grace to trust. Grace enough for you, grace enough for me, grace enough for us and all the cosmos. God meets us in our wildernesses while we're looking for rest. God comes to us just as demonstrated in flesh through Jesus Christ. Love can't but give itself away, and God comes. Grace enough to reveal God to the world. God gives us enough grace enough for us to reveal God to the world in our empathy and in our acts of compassion and in our love for all. This, I hope, encourages you today, encourages you in your steps that you need to take tomorrow. I just pray for you all. I'm grateful for you all. I'm so thankful for the years I had. I'm thankful for you. And may God meet you in this moment, wherever you are, full of grace, full of shalom. Peace be with you. Thank you.